call David Clendon.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Kei te mihi nui kia koutou. Ki te mana o Ngāti Whātua o Orākei, mi ngā hapu katoa o tanuki makaurau, ngā rangatira mā, ngā kuia mā, tēnā koutou katoa. Sir, may I take a moment to express on behalf of the Greens our best wishes to the rangatira who became unwell this morning. That gentleman bears a name that has long been associated with strength and determination, and may those qualities assure swift and complete recovery. Sir, it's customary when standing to speak in this House to speak of one's pleasure at contributing to the debate about this or that bill. It can be somewhat formulaic, but on this occasion, for me personally, it is a genuine pleasure to speak to this bill, to this important bill, a step in a long journey, a significant step in the beginning of a new journey. So while my whakapapa goes to the north, particularly to Hokianga, nevertheless I've spent much of my life in Auckland. It's a place I hold very dear. I grew up there and continue to enjoy the time that I do spend there. Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, is our largest, our most diverse, our most complex city, arguably our most important city, though others perhaps will dispute that point. So for New Zealand to do well, Auckland must do well. The acknowledgement today of Ngāti Whātua as mana whenua, the restoration of some of the commercial redress that's involved in this bill, some of the other empowering provisions that enable Ngāti Whātua better to exercise that mana whenua, gives Ngāti Whātua more capacity to contribute to a better and a more prosperous future for both Māori and non-Māori in Tamaki Makaurau and indeed across New Zealand. So this settlement acknowledging the wrongs done in the 19th and the 20th century, the return of a token amount of material wealth, and the point has been made that these settlements at best are only token in the sense of returning material wealth. We cannot hope to see a full restitution, and it is to the great honour of all Māori that partial restitution has been accepted in the spirit of assuring a better future for all of us. So all of this that is contained in this bill today is an important step towards Auckland, all Aucklanders and all New Zealanders enjoying a better and a richer future. Ngāti Whātua have always been and are and will continue to be a powerhouse in the development of Auckland, socially, culturally and economically, and long may that continue. In an earlier speech, I referred to the strategic plan of Ngāti Whātua, which is an extremely sophisticated document, and I think it reflects in part on what Mr. Horomia referred to earlier, the particular governance model that's been established by Ngāti Whātua to respond to the situation of the 21st century. The basic structure of Māori society will not change. Whānau, hapu, iwi, the relationships within and between those structures, they will sustain us over time. That is not to say that cultures remain static. We are not locked in 1840 or 1780 or any other time. Cultures are dynamic, not least of all Māori, and we will see the evolution of new ways of dealing with and responding to the demands of the 21st century, but always grounded in that commitment to and that acknowledgement that we are part of a place and that place is part of us. Sir, I'd like to make some brief reference to the text of the bill. One of the great benefits of these settlements bills is that they put on paper the stories, the record of what happens. They're an incredibly rich resource for all New Zealanders now into the future to remind us constantly of our history, how we can resolve the bad that was done and seek to establish a better future for all of us. The acknowledgements of the bill recognises that Ngāti Whātua endeavoured to establish a positive and meaningful relationship with the Crown, that they demonstrated extraordinary good faith and trust in the Crown and sought to make that relationship work to everybody's advantage. There's a line in the bill that says the Crown acknowledges the benefits and protection that Ngāti Whātua or Orākei expected to flow from the relationship with the Crown were not always realised. That is a magnificent understatement, sir, but nevertheless we acknowledge that that commitment has been made. It's made honestly and openly, and that is to our mutual benefit. The Crown also acknowledges that the alienation of land has diminished the ability of Ngāti Whātua Orākei to exercise mana whenua. And again, the unique provisions of this bill acknowledge the mana whenua and better enable Ngāti Whātua to exercise that, and that's as it should be. There's reference made to the inadequate protections applied to pā and urapā, including monga kia. And again, in an earlier speech, I noted that the use of the correct names, the older names, the Māori names for some of these key features of the Auckland landscape are becoming more commonplace. We are now referring without embarrassment to Monga Kia, to the other significant sites around Auckland. And that's a sign of the evolution of the understanding of non-Māori as of the importance of naming of places. These names embed stories. They refer to tupuna, to events that created that place as it is today. And long may we continue to utilise and understand those names better, not to diminish or undermine the importance of some of the Pākehā names that have been assigned to these places, but to recognise that naming is an important part of place, an important part of the exercise of mana whenua. So the reference also in the apology of the Crown, and again the apologies are always such an important part of these settlement bills. The material redress, of course, is important. That provides the pūtea, the means to advance the aspirations of ngā iwi. But the apology is profoundly important, of course, an acknowledgement that wrong was done, and from that point on we can progress together. In the reference, in the apology, the Crown is deeply sorry for its actions, which left Ngāti Whātua Orākei virtually landless, and notes that this landlessness led to consequences, including social, economic and spiritual well-being, a diminished well-being for these people, for all of us. Sir, I don't believe it's too long a bow to draw to suggest that the current deprivation, the fact that Māori appear at the wrong end of all of the social statistics, all of the social indices, is a reflection of the spiritual harm as much as the material harm. The harm to the spirit reflects very directly to the well-being of the emotions and the mental health of people. It is well known that Māori suffer significantly in terms of mental health. Our prisons are full of Māori across the country, and often that is a reflection of the lack of robust mental health. That is a disease of the spirit as much as of the mind. The acknowledgement that the deprivation of the land affected the wairua of the people and led to the situation where we no longer have that strength in ourselves and in our purpose. These settlements are part of the restoration of that wairua, enabling our young ones to grow up knowing who they are, knowing their place, knowing the mana of their people, and that is an important part of the future for all of us. So this bill talks of healing. It talks of trust, and those are significant aspirations. May this bill represent a step towards the healing of Ngāti Whātua, of the relationship between Ngāti Whātua and the Crown and non-Māori. Ngāti Whātua have long demonstrated that they are trustworthy. It is now incumbent on the Crown and all of us who represent the Crown to prove that we also are trustworthy, and that this relationship that is established by the settlement bill will be honoured into the future. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
The Honourable Tau Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ia koranga tira tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou Ngāti Whātua I haere mai nei, I tēnei ra. Nō reira wā